Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, Bob?
Does Tantra energy flow in a similar manner for men and women, or are there energetically a difference?
On men and women, and I think so. I mean, yes. But look, it gets into a very interesting subject. There's male, there's female, but each and every human being has masculine and feminine inside them. And the purpose of doing deep meditation and developing a chakra system is to unify the Shiva, the Shakti, the male, female, the yin, the yang, so that we develop inside us a wholeness of being. And yes, physically, men are different than women, you know, but inside, the chakra system develops that union, that marriage of male, female inside a human being. That union activates Kundalini and enables a person to ultimately attain a state of spiritual enlightenment. So yes, so we're physically different. I mean, I don't know any men that have a period once a month. I mean, we're different, but in a deeper spiritual manner, we all have to unify the male-female energy inside us. And every man has female energy. Every woman has male energy. And instead of creating this madness that goes on in the world about, macho and this and that, people have to embrace each other and say, okay, we're all different and we all need to learn how to become holistic human beings. So it's kind of it's like a jigsaw puzzle conundrum, yes, male, men and women are different. Yet each of them, both sexes have to unify the Shiva, the Shakti, the male-female principle in order to create a wholeness inside themselves. And this has nothing to do with somebody's sexual proclivities, whether they're gay, straight, trans, this, that, the other. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It has to do with learning how to become a whole person inside, to develop the highest levels of one's humanity. We need to learn how to unify the male, and that unification, as I've said 100 times already, it takes place in the sexual area. I mean, this is something that we have really, uh, you know, this is something that's very foreign to people that live in our modern day world, what I'm talking about. But it wasn't foreign to people, like I've always told you when I used to go to Kathmandu, one of the places I always went to is Pashupatinath, this extraordinary Shaivite temple in Kathmandu. And in that temple, they had, I don't know, maybe 50 sculptures of, you know, a cow, a bull with the lingam in the yoni, and the cobra rising. And, this is a Shaivite symbol. It's actually a symbol for what I'm talking about, the union of the male-female principle. The cow, the bull, is that energy of chi, that power energy that's below the navel. And then you have the sexual union of the lingam and the yoni, and the cobra is the kundalini. So why people in the 6th century were wise enough to understand this and portray it in their art is something that's really missing in the 21st century. We are really cut off from the deepest elements of what it means to have a spiritual life and to be human. But when all of these elements start working inside, that's why Rudy developed this meditation practice to get all of these elements working. And the ultimate goal is a state of spiritual enlightenment. And that can't take place unless the union of the male-female principle takes place inside a human being. I used to love to give meditation classes in Pashupatinath. I really did. It was such an extraordinary place. And I have a picture of myself sitting with four Nagababas that was taken in Pashupatinath. They're right here. I used to really love going there and doing meditation classes there. So yes, men are different than women. But at the same time, male, female, both of them need to get spiritually enlightened. And nobody's going to get enlightened unless they unify these masculine and feminine principles inside themselves. The Shiva Shakti, even in Judaism, they have, Jehovah Shekhinah, the marriage of God and his consort. It's in the Buddhists have Yab Yum, the Tibetan Buddhists. And you see all these erotic statues of, gods coupling with their Shakti, with their female energy. It's something that has come down through the beginnings of time that for some reason is completely cut off from the world that we live in today. And it shouldn't be. It's really important. Does anyone else have a question? And I'll say it again, it has nothing to do with anybody's sexual proclivities. Whatever your sexual preferences are, it's just your business, It has to do with developing a spiritual life, becoming one with higher energy in the universe. That's all. Well, that's enough. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? That's a pretty esoteric subject and took me years to learn this. I'm talking years for this to become clear inside me, what I'm talking about tonight.
Stuart, this is Jan.
Yes, Jan?
Could you talk or clarify more? What does it mean to unify the male and female principle?
What it means to unify, it's a marriage of masculine and feminine.
So is that as the Shakti moves through the sexual area, it does that?
When the Shakti moves through the sexual area, it unifies the male-female principle. That gives birth to Kundalini. Kundalini is fast asleep at the base of a human being's spine. It needs the union of masculine to wake it up. It gives birth to the Kundalini. Kundalini is the pathway to God. to spiritual enlightenment. So energy that moves through the sexual area it's kind of a marriage of male, female. And it takes place in every human being who has mastered and developed the chakra system.
Thank you. That helps clarify for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a book called Tantra, which I don't know if I'll ever going to get published, but it's all about this. It's all about this. And don't worry about this. I'm telling you, it took me years to build a system inside to where what I'm talking about became clear. Years. It wasn't something that I mean, I've never read about it in a book, you know? So don't worry about it. You develop your inner life and suddenly you see the world differently. You know, you see the mysteries in life, the secrets, the profundest elements of life. It's all an outgrowth of developing one's chakra system. I'm sure there are other ways to do it, but in the work that Rudy developed, it's a very straight path to doing what I'm talking about. But it's
So
something
Stuart,
that, yeah.
Stuart, I have another question on that. What I'm hearing is that the unification is it's not a doing process per se, but a part of the uh, evolution of my inner work. Is that
You
is that
got it,
correct?
Bob. You got it. You got it. That's what it is. It's the evolution of one's inner world. All these things manifest.
And at the same time, I feel like, well, I I don't know what I'm doing. I it's like
Look, I've been
um,
doing this 50 years and I don't know what I'm doing, Bob. So don't worry about it. Just do it, okay? Just do it.
well, okay. So you just said do it. So
Well,
what does that mean? Do it.
what does it mean? It means consistency of doing the double breathing exercise, sitting down and working on yourself, coming to meditation classes where there's a great deal of energy that you can receive and build the chakra system with. That's what it means. That's what I mean by doing it. It's not something complicated. It's something that we just have to literally habituate ourselves to doing. There can't be reasons not to do it. I mean, look, uh, I know how important meditation classes are to my spiritual life. There's a lot of stuff I can do at 7:30 in the evening. There's theaters, there's music, there's dance, there's this. It all goes on. I'm living, 50 minutes away from the center of Manhattan. But I know what I need, so I'm here doing this. It's a commitment.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Good questions, both of you. I mean, look, this meditation we practice, just to finish up, it's probably 100,000 years old, this meditation. And it's very ancient. And even, Rudy was called Rudrananda, the earliest form of Shiva. In India, they recognized him as Rudrananda. And that Shiva in the most primal state of Hinduism, beginnings of it all. Does anyone else have a question? And yet this meditation wasn't developed for Hindus, it was developed for humanity. I mean, in my book, I call it kind of survival yoga. I told her, what do you do? I do survival yoga. To live in the Western world with all of the madness that goes on in this world here and do something that can give you a spiritual life is something extraordinary. And what really changed me when I was younger, I saw Rudy transform New York City into a temple. Suddenly, when I was around him, New York City became sacred. And that to me was one of the most extraordinary things. I was 25, 26 years old that I ever witnessed. Life is sacred. Does anyone else have a question? Okay. In about a month, a little less, we're going to be having a retreat. And if you want to sign up, there's still space for people to come. You can get in touch with Jennifer or myself and sign up. All right. If there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. And there'll be class tomorrow. Jennifer will have a class tomorrow at 7:30. And I'll have a class tomorrow at 1 o'clock my time. So, on the West Coast, it's in the morning, and in Israel, it's in the evening. It's all over the world. So God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.